the marvels of modern invention, that with which I am most concerned is, of course, air transportation.
Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Ooh, haunted radio coming to you from beyond the grave.
Yes.
It's me, Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada. We're here as we are every week.
Yeah.
Non-stop, don't stop, won't stop, doing our Ask Engineer weekly show, which we do every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We've got some exciting news, new products, videos, guides, tutorials.
And more.
It's not out yet. It's whatever it is, we got it. It's the most exciting hour of the Maker Week.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right, let's kick it off. What's on tonight's show,
On tonight's show, the code is boomy. We'll tell you why. This is the code all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. Everything except for the on-sale items in the Week of Making section and
gift certificates.
Gift certificates and data boxes. The only things can't...
We already have 15% off that category anyway, so you don't get 2 coupons.
Okay. Next up. When you buy a kit, electronics and more, it supports us. Adafruit. That's where it goes. Show and tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects and more. We had some great projects. Pack the mailbags and stop by. Read off your emails to us. Time travel, look back in the world and in the present world of making artistry, hacking, everything and more. Main New York City, some electronic videos and more from our Adafruit factory here in Manhattan, in New York City. This is where we make the electronics. We're a USA manufacturer. Nibis, the friendly cloud entity, is going to break it down, tell you about Adafruit I/O and some new interesting developments in the world of IoT. 3D printing. Pedro printed up a bunch of neat stuff. A new feature, Microbit Mondays. We have Pi Day. We usually do that on Friday. Pi News. New products. We'll answer your questions. We have a top secret. Ooh, all that. Trivia questions and more on
Giveaways.
Ask an Engineer. Okay. All right, lady. So that's what we're doing tonight.
This thing.
Yeah.
Doing this thing.
Yeah.
It's
so
you and me.
It is. That's what we do.
Hi.
Okay. So don't forget, code's boomy. 10% off the Adafruit store. You're watching Ask an Engineer, 8 p.m. Yep. We just did show and tell. We do that every Wednesday at 7:30 in Manhattan. If you check out before 11 a.m. and you're one of the zip codes that have same-day delivery, we got it.
You know, we have to add back in, we have to add the Bitcoin slide, because like Bitcoin's at like $3 billion or something.
I used to be like, we had Bitcoin, and it was like, everyone was like, yay!
And then it dropped.
And it was like nothing. I guess I should say, we take Bitcoin.
We take Bitcoin.
Take Bitcoin. Okay.
You have Bitcoin, you want to get rid of it?
For
send it to us.
Continental USA orders, $200 or more, we have UPS Ground free. We also have now DHL Canada, and additionally on top of that, we have DHL, and it goes to Germany, France, and Great Britain. So we got it going on.
Okay.
Yeah, we're adding more all the time.
We'll add more, but we're beta testing.
Okay. And there's also special treats. On checkout, you can keep adding stuff to your cart, and if you have an account, you'll get one of these 3 pins. It'll be a different pin each time. If you don't have an account, you just get a random one, but a free pin, and that's on orders $99 or more. Some restrictions apply, as they say. Here it is. Ask your doctor if free pins is good for you. So, Lady Ada, it's show and tell time.
Yep.
Every single week we do this. People around the world show and share their projects.
It's lovely.
Who was on the show and tell, and what did they show?
We had 11 people on the show and tell, so I'm going to race through these. John Park showed off that haunted radio that you saw in the preview there in the beginning. It's a radio that has a little Hall effect sensor and a feather ESP8266 plus a music maker feather wing. Can read the little magnet on the dial, and it will like pretend to tune into an ancient station, so it's kind of cool. It's also really fun, like hacking old electronics. Like not a lot of people listen to radio anymore, but you could turn it into a Wi-Fi radio, so that's kind of cool. And he also made a Wi-Fi alert box. There's a new guide for that. And he had a general purpose tip. Hall effect sensors are really cool. Can I tell you my Hall effect story now?
Yes.
When that Gwen Stefani song came on, like when I was in college, I thought she was saying, "I'm not a Hall effect girl."
Just not.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, I totally like."
Yeah, there's a whole group of folks that it's like lyrics that you think you're hearing. Like I think like every Pearl Jam song is actually different. But I remember Did you sing that? Were you singing that around our apartment or something?
I did once because it was on the radio, and
Yeah.
I was singing because that was really funny. Because I was like, what else would she be saying?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, maybe
no holla back, girl.
it'd be neat if we could get Gwen Stefani to do like a circuit playground project or something.
With Hall effect
Okay.
sensors. Okay.
I'll send her an email.
We'll do that.
I'm on it.
Erin, who does our lovely Rainbow Unicorn projects and Wonder Woman bracers and other awesome projects and wearables, she has a quest for people who are viewing this video. She wants to do guides that are simple projects, no microcontrollers, no soldering, just crafting projects with electronics into, especially low-cost projects, maybe $5 per person that people can build and are fun and get them kind of familiar with electronics, but are more than just like a throwaway, we think. So if you have any ideas, post in the comments and we'll forward them along to Erin. So any projects you've built, like a brush bot is a good example of one. Or she takes these fairy lights and she does costuming and crafting with them. So those are some good ideas. And she wants them to be something with an on-off switch because she doesn't want just items that you turn them on and then they die in a day. So having something with an on-off switch is a plus. Known Pedro showed off this Boomy. It's 3D Hangouts this week. It's an add-on project for AdaBox 4, but of course you just print it on your own. A lot of the techniques showed is how to do multicolor prints with a single color printer by layering different filaments. They also know he made a NeoPixel hat. That's pretty cool. Scott has 2 projects he's working on. One is the CircuitPython Release Candidate 2 1.0 RC2 is out. If you would like to help test it out, there's some API changes. If you have a Feather M0 Express or a Metro Express or a Circuit Playground Express and you're interested in helping test CircuitPython RC2, please do. We'll talk about that more. And email him, Scott at Adafruit. Easy. Tony D built a tachometer with Circuit Playground and using the Circuit Playground Express, but you can also use the Circuit Playground Classic, and maybe we'll do a guide about that. Super cool. Also shows how to hook it up to an external display. Sally showed off her workroom. She had recently built and renovated her house to add a workroom. It's got lots of light. It's got a dress form. It's got lots of storage, fabric, components. Really cool stuff comes out of there. So it's a magic room. Hazel is a young maker who made a creeper nightlight using a Pimaroni fat. I guess she had won it on one of our shows, which is super cool. I don't remember that, but I mean, I'm sure she did. I don't remember when that was, probably a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And so she 3D printed a box as well, and she's learning about 3D printing. And Adam is the browser, the editor she uses, so she's already got a favorite IDE, which I think is very important to have before you graduate grade school. 8-Bit built a Raspberry Pi 3, is building a Raspberry Pi 3 based Game Boy, hacking up a controller, burnt out some LEDs, learning a lot. Going to put an LCD in it. There's another Scott. This Scott has a new house, keeps forgetting to take out the garbage, so he made a light that it has a timer. It's a feather based, I think, or ESP86, and it has a light up NeoPixel sign that says take out the garbage, and will go off every night Thursday at 8 p.m.
These are my favorite projects because it's sort of home automation, but it's actually
human automation,
life automation,
life automation.
And if you missed a garbage and it's 6 a.m., he said every morning he'd be like
6 a.m. He's like, I just
Oops,
missed it, because who's going to run out at 5 a.m.? You have to do it the night before.
Yeah, you have to do it the night before. So that was a cool project.
And then Rebecca was testing an Arduino shield with a friend. Friend plugged it in not quite right, burnt it out. It happens. Good learning experience.
Yeah.
And is hosting a National Week of Making workshop at the local library where they're going to build some night lights.
That's right.
That was on the show and tell.
All right. All participants on the show and tell get an Ask on the show and tell sticker. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com and we will send you one, or something else if something else comes up. It's part of our Adafruit live shows. A little bit of a reminder. In July, we're doing a special show and tell. All the folks who built something with some of the TI stuff we did with the My Mini Race Car Project Pack. What?
TE.
TE, sorry.
It's so confusing.
I missed a vowel.
I know.
It's TE.
TE.
Yeah, but now I'm going to say it's like TE. See, there we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. So DigiKey. So we'll also have an engineer on the show with you, Lady Ada, and we'll be showing some projects. Judith Henzel is a 4th TE resident to work alongside the Andretti Formula E team. and that'll be neat. So we have asking
Yeah,
engineers for that
Judith.
show and tell.
Yeah, and she's a car engineer too.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
That's awesome.
So next up, lots of news in the world of CircuitPython.
Like we said,
yeah, we
RC2 is out.
Yeah, release candidate 2, and
Fixed audio.
yeah, a bunch of stuff's going on. So if you're interested in CircuitPython, Circuit Playground, and some of our other boards, it's happening right now. And speaking of,
A good way to test it is if you have like an Arduino project kicking around or like a project you used to build, try replicating it in CircuitPython. That's kind of how I did the RC1
Yeah.
testing, and we found all sorts of bugs just by trying to build a project that you
yeah,
have already seen.
okay. And speaking of, Tony D did a video. It's the Windows 10 Make Code demo, and you can see it here. And this is where Tony goes over all the things that you can do on Windows 10 using makecode.adafruit.com.
And then installing CircuitPython as well.
CircuitPython, yep. So that's
And like having a code editor that you want to use.
Yeah.
And installing it, getting PuTTY installed,
yeah.
running it.
This walks
getting
you
your
step by
REPL.
step by step.
Cool.
Yeah. And then we have a new video from John Park, JP's workshop. That was the opener for the show, so take it away, JP.
Among all the marvels of modern invention, that with which I am most concerned is, of course, air transportation.
Hi, I'm John Park for Adafruit Industries. This is the Haunted Radio. The Haunted Radio is a sort of mystery box, and it's a vintage tube radio that's been updated with some modern components so that it plays static when you turn it on, and then it plays back one particular MP3 file when the station has been dialed in to a preset number. Let's take a look inside and I'll show you how it works. Here you can see I've got most of the original components still in place, but I've disconnected pretty much everything. I'm going to unscrew this from the bottom so we can slide it out and take a look at the parts. And once that's out, I'm going to actually need to pull off the knobs. Those are part of what keep things in place, and in this case they just slide off. Sometimes you'll find a little set screw that holds them in place. Now we can slide out most of the way, and you can see here I've got a connection to the speaker that I'll try to leave in place actually as we have a look at the rest of what's going on here. Okay, with this turned around you can see the on-off switch and volume here and the tuning mechanism here. The tuning mechanism is pretty cool. It actually is an air capacitor, which is usually how these were tuned, and the wheel that dials in that capacitor value has a pulley wheel system to slide this indicator back and forth for the station selection. Now what we have here for the guts are a battery, a proto board for the feather to pop into and connect our wiring, the ESP8266 Huzzah feather, and we have the MP3 Music Maker feather wing on top with an SD card that contains our files. I've got a USB cable connected here that's just used for either reprogramming or for charging the battery up. And I've actually wired in the on-off switch. If you look on the bottom here, I've got the on-off switch wired to the battery so that we can interrupt the power flow to this and turn it fully on and off. Now this MP3 Music Maker Featherwing has an amplifier on it, so I'm able to drive the original speaker directly. You may find sometimes that your old radios have one of these active drive speakers instead of a passive that uses a permanent magnet. These are no good. You're going to probably just want to replace this with a modern, inexpensive speaker if that's what you find inside your old radio. Here's a little demo I put together on a separate Adafruit Metro Express M0, and in this case I have the Hall effect sensor plugged into a digital input pin, ground, and power, and then I have a 10K resistor running between the power pin and the data pin. Now, with it turned on, you'll see I have a little NeoPixel lit up there, and when I hover the magnet in front of the Hall sensor, the color changes on the NeoPixel. So the way I'm using the Hall sensor inside of the radio project is I have the Feather Huzzah 8266, and it has the Hall sensor plugged into one of its digital input pins, and that Hall sensor is sitting in front of the station that I want the player to tune. The magnet is on the little indicator dial that moves back and forth as it's tuned. When it boots up, it just plays that first static sound, and it loops that over and over again until the magnet is detected, and then it triggers that second song. Now, you can do all kinds of interesting things in software once you've got your haunted radio built. You could set up multiple Hall sensors so that you could tune in different stations. You could go ahead and use the Wi-Fi capabilities of the ESP8266 Huzzah Feather and maybe inject some different behaviors while the players aren't watching. If you'd like to build your own haunted radio, check out the learning guide linked in the description below. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park, and this is the Haunted Radio.
Flying is perhaps the most dramatic of recent scientific attainments. Aviation, this young modern giant, exemplifies the possible relationship of women and the creations of science. Although women as yet have not taken full advantage of its use and benefits, air travel is as available to them as to men.
Okay, and back to mailbag. So we read your emails to us every single week in our all-company meeting called State of the Fruit. That's what we do. And it's from Jonathan. I wanted to send you an email and say thank you so much for the wonderful products, information, and learning resources you provide. You have all been a huge resource and inspiration for a personal transition from working in feature animation industry to fine art world of interactive installations using microcontrollers. None of this would have been possible without you. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
That's pretty cool. And don't forget, if you want to leave a message for us on our phone, right there, the phone number is ownbitstab. That's how you remember it. And the phone's off right now, but it goes to voicemail. We may turn the phone on later. You never know. Okay, time travel. Back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers. This week is a little different. So I have a little nod to the past, and then I want to talk about what's going on because it's National Making.
Yes.
Tomorrow's the last day. And so we have a few things. First up, someone from this magazine contacted me, and I used to do this series on Make, and this is one of my favorite magazines from like the 60s and 70s, Popular Electronics.
This is so cool.
Look at all these ladies doing electronics.
She's just like theremin and like playing bass.
Yeah, and it was so ahead of its time. One of my favorite magazines. So I'm talking to them about some stuff. Like, there might be some Popular Electronics. That's what I think we're kind of doing. We're making electronics popular.
Dude, I would love just have like a woman in a poodle dress, but like, or like one of those dresses with the cherries on it, but she's making a Raspberry Pi project.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I think that goes back to my Gwen Stefani request.
That's right.
Where she could do...
she could be on the cover.
And there'd be a soundtrack that goes with it. And
she ain't no Hall Effect girl.
Yeah, she's not a Hall Effect girl. Okay. So this is... Nation of Makers, that's the organization. It's National Week of Making, June 16th to 22nd. There was some things...
It's now! Finally! We got there!
How are you celebrating the Week of Making?
I'm making stuff.
Yeah, so
how can others celebrate?
Yeah, we've been doing blog posts and all that. We've been tagging stuff online. We've been retweeting. There's 5 ways to participate. You can visit weekofmaking.org, share profiles and photos as an intended event, make something, share your creation, pound Week of Making. And we selected one video, one specific project that had something to do with the Week of Making, and we're going to play this for you. If you know Bill from 18makers.org, he put together a video. He just finished it. He sent it to me.
Please,
and he's like, get the word out. So this is, when I think of the best of us, and the best of us making things and how we can share and help each other, this video kind of says it all. So it's 7 minutes long, well worth it. Gather around the kids. This is the one you want to watch.
Okay.
Take it away, Bill.
Celebrating the Week of Making.
That's right.
Hi everyone, this is Bill Binko from AT Makers, and for the National Week of Making, I'm really proud to share our most recent project, Engineering Ella.
Dinner. That's beautiful.
That is fabulous.
That's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Okay, can you get yourself turned back around towards Dennis?
No more. It's... Huh? You got it.
Just figuring out the...
Yeah, the timing. All right, ready to call them all?
Before we go on, it's probably important that you learn a little bit about Ella. Ella Hunt was born with spinal muscular atrophy, type 1. It's a debilitating illness that affects the ability for the body to create motor neurons. What that means is that over time, starting at birth or a little bit thereafter, the motor function of the body will break down, and slowly the body will no longer function. This has no impact on her ability to think, on her cognitive ability, on her ability to experience life other than the ability to move. When we met Ella, she was basically trying to control her power chair. She only has the ability to control a left and a right-hand switch, and this was a significant challenge. Denise, Ella's physical therapist, found a solution online in the SMA Adaptability Facebook group. Jonathan Lasco from Maryland had rigged up an Arduino-based system that let his son Max control his chair and an avatar in Second Life using just 2 switches. The left turns left, the right turns right, and both switches together drive forward. This is exactly what Ella needed. Now, Jonathan is a maker in his own right, and he has helped us on a lot of projects on AT Makers, and he was able to bring this to our community and get some additional help and make this work. So AT Makers got started on that, and I started looking for somebody in her area who had a great STEM program who'd be able to support her, both with this particular project and also her other needs. It turns out Penn High School was a great solution. Penn High School has a great program. They've got a great engineering program, a great first competition robotics team. They've won numerous awards, chairman awards, regional championships. They've got a fantastic technical skill set right there, just a few miles down the road from where Ella lives. And they've got a great facility for her to come and practice in. They've got great teachers and great kids who want to help. What AT Makers did was they introduced these two. Turns out Ella's mom, Erica, had gone to Penn, knew it well, but honestly didn't know that there were resources there that could help her. So we did that introduction. We also did the initial engineering on a box that lets Ella control her power chair. So we delivered that, we introduced her to the robotics team, and they've really taken her under their wing. Since that initial delivery and introduction, they've sent kids out to her house. They've measured her for making better placement guards for her hands to be able to control her switches. And I've got a great video I was just sent that shows Ella working with the kids at their high school as they practice using her new control box, and more importantly, using the new mounts that they have for her arms that make it easy for her to control the device.
This is the Penn High School team that has been helping work with us on better hand positioning. They've also been helping with some programming on her switch. She's doing awesome. So today we put new, they designed little troughs to help hold her hand in because they were falling off, and a better way to hold her switches. She comes over here, I think. Hey Ella, can you drive right up to me so I can show the camera your switches? Now we didn't rebuckle your seatbelt, so no accidents. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Are you liking it? Are they doing a good job? Cool. Nicely done, Ella. Yeah, you can go. Yeah.
In addition to the physical controls that they've made, they've also been a great help with AT Makers in that they can install the Arduino changes that we send them. So we've made some modifications, sent it up to David, who's one of the teens who works there, and he's able to upload those into the actual box that controls the device. As you can see, Ella's doing great. She's absolutely moving about on her own. The amount of mobility her mom says is off the charts, life-changing, all kinds of great words like that to describe what's happening. More importantly for me, not more importantly, but at least as important for me, is that the high school kids also light up around her. They're introduced to a child who's got enormous challenges and is fighting anyways. They're able to work with her hands-on and get that empathy to understand, you know, that the things that they're dealing with are probably smaller, but even when they're big, they're seeing that they can impact somebody else's life, that the skills they have today in high school are enough to really impact somebody and make them have a better life immediately. I think it's really important. I think it's a wonderful thing to introduce to makers, that the things that you make today can impact somebody else's life. As you can see, I'm really proud of this project. I want to thank Adafruit for making the parts that we need, and also for being as supportive as they are. Dorothy from Nation of Makers for making things like Nation of Makers happen, especially the folks at Penn, all the coordinators there that are going to continue this on, right? This isn't a one-time project. They're going to continue to talk to Ella, to talk to Erica, her mom, and find out, what do you need, how can we help? You know, that kind of adoption is important, and I love it. I think it's exactly what I want to make. You know, it's what AT Makers wants to do. I'd like one of these in every major city in the country, where if somebody needs AT help, they can go locally and find an engineering team ready to help them. If you or your team would like to get involved and learn what kind of AT opportunities there are nearby, or if you've got an assistive technology challenge, if you've got a child who needs something and you think maybe this shouldn't be this hard to get and makers in your area might be able to help out, let us know. Go to atmakers.org, sign up at the bottom, or probably easier, just join us on Facebook. The AT Makers Facebook group's available. You can all join. We say yes to everybody. It's only private because of spam. We'd love to have you. We'd love to find out what you need or what you're willing to do to help. Have a great National Week of Making, and as always, good luck and have fun.
Okay, I can't think of a better video and a better way to end this week of making than what Bill put together there. And not only makers using their skills to help others, but one of my favorite parts about this is when Bill talks about the high school that is helping out with this. It teaches the young people, the kids, to have empathy for others and to use their skills to help others, and the joy that you get from it. So great work, Bill.
There's definitely, like, I hear from engineers, you know, they say like, oh, well, you know, I'm not a doctor, you know, I don't help people. Like it's you know, because often when you're an engineer, you're working on a little piece, a little piece, a little piece of a bigger thing. And especially sometimes you're working on projects that you're like, well, you know, you work for Facebook, which you should quit. But let's say you can't quit working for Facebook, and you're like, but I want to use my skills to help others. A lot of these projects that AT Makers does, they're not super complicated coding or electronics projects.
Yeah.
These are projects that you could do. A lot of people, they do a little bit of Arduino practice.
Yeah.
You know, taking one switch and actuating another, you know, thing with a transistor. These are projects that a lot of makers can do. And so if you're wondering, how can I work with my community, help people in my community, this is an excellent example, either by helping yourself or mentoring these students to help them do it.
I'm going to say something to convince some that I'm not menacing. Even if you work at Facebook, you know, Facebook is used to get this message out. So maybe that can be the focus.
No, I know. I'm just choosing my
like
Facebook.
the sharing of and bringing people together instead of just monetizing us and just doing some of the things that I think makes it hard to use the web sometimes. But this was neat. This is makers coming together and helping someone. So thank you so much, everyone involved with this. And the electronics you made, you never, ever imagined it would be used for something like this. But you knew it could be used for something that someone might be able to take it in a direction you never thought.
I'll tell you what, actually, when I design things, even though I don't design them for, you know, these specific situations in mind, I try to design the best thing possible.
Yeah.
Like the easiest to use, the most well documented, the most durable. Like, I just try to do the best job I can.
Yeah.
And if you do the best job you can, that makes it easier for other people to integrate into their own projects. I think, like, we release as much, you know, we release all the documentation.
That's why open source is important.
Yeah, we have all the stuff that's open source. We release everything and absolutely whatever we can.
Yeah.
So that, you know, when Bill or whoever is working on a project, they're like, okay, I'm trying to understand how this firmware is working and how I can get, you know, lower power or higher power performance. they have that capabilities, whereas a lot of accessibility tech, you know, there's not a lot of documentation. You use it one way, it's not necessarily adaptable.
Yeah. So on a related note, and maybe I'll talk about that in a bit. So, you know, when we say, hey, like if you're saying your thing is open source, really put up the files, really put up the schematics, really put up the code, because, you know, we're not going to last forever, but these type of projects will. And so that's why it matters. So
reminds me of the Stephen Hawking voice changer, or the voice emulator.
Yeah, they couldn't fix it.
They
right?
couldn't fix it because whoever designed it,
Yeah.
it was a one-off project. There was no documentation.
Yeah.
And so they actually had to kind of start over from scratch. If it had been open sourced
Yeah.
and well documented of some company's product that they never released documents for.
Yeah. I think the neat thing about the Feather line and a lot of things he did is the fact that it can be a keyboard and a device, and now, you know, Circuit Playground and CircuitPython, all that does that. I think that was the thing that really unlocked a lot of these assistive technologies, and it's low cost and it's very custom because every kid is different. Every challenge that a lot of people have, it's different. There's no way there's going to be a one size fits all. And these kids who have some of these mobility challenges, they get older and different things happen. And they were talking about how they're 3D printing better things for the switches.
Oh yeah, if you have an accessibility project, that has to last you 30, 35 years.
Yeah. Okay.
And like your life depends on it.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not be able to like use the phone or go outside.
This is important stuff. This is like important. This is one of the interesting
documentation is important.
Yeah, this is one of the cooler flowers that have blossomed in the maker movement. Makers helping makers for assistive technology. Okay. So open source hardware. Where open source hardware comes. Speaking of that, the data, we have some tutorials. You know how many? 1,237.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to guess, but I guess not.
Nope.
Okay, so what do we have this week? We had the Haunted Radio from John Park. We had last week's 3D Hangouts project, the Guardian Robot with LEDs. Is a fun, like 3D print, hack little summer project. This week's 3D Hangouts project is Boomy the Boombox, cute little boombox for AdaBox 4. We have the AdaBox 4 guide. It's music themed, so check that out if you have a AdaBox, or maybe you'll pick one up later. A Wi-Fi music alert box, another project that you can build with AdaBox, or again, just pick up the parts individually in the Adafruit shop. And we have the mini TFT tutorial. That's a new product, so I'm going to be showing that off shortly. Okay. I think we also had the unicorn hat with moving ears. I think that's new.
Yeah.
But if not, watch it again. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and we have, so Aaron's catching up on putting some of the videos up on YouTube, so we're going to do back-to-back. One after the other, we have 4 videos.
Short little videos.
Short little videos. They're 1 minute each. Get ready to be delighted.
Rainbows.
Unicorns. Unicorn chaser time.
Unicorn chaser.
Okay, and a reminder, we're doing the buy one, give one with DigiKey. Buy a circuit playground on DigiKey, they give one the girls who code. It's that simple, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You get one, they get one,
Yeah.
but you only pay for one.
Yeah. Okay,
Sweet.
next up, I've been running this story down for 3 years, it seems.
Yeah.
Writing
What's
about it
Arduino
now.
news?
Yeah, I have some Arduino news. So the thing that
You have paperwork.
I've got paperwork. Yeah. So for the folks who've been following along, there was Arduino, a couple different Arduinos, and then they said they're one company, and now there's a new CEO, and then there's multiple companies inside of it. It's actually not quite one Arduino. And there's a couple issues that came up. One was there was a promised Arduino Foundation from Arduino. It's been almost a year. There hasn't been a
We want to make
foundation.
sure that
Yeah.
the developers who have spent a decade.
Yeah.
I've spent 10 years writing Arduino code.
Yeah.
Other developers who've donated Arduino code, time, effort, debugging skills, hardware, design.
Yeah, so basically it's
they
a-
have somebody who speaks
yeah,
for them.
It's a foundation that would help do this.
Yes.
Not sure if it's going to happen. Doesn't matter. Hackaday, site I found a long time ago. I'm not associated with anymore. I made the logo, made the site.
But it's nice
ran
to
the
see it
site.
grown up and doing something.
One of the intentions of the site I had was to do articles like this.
Mm-hmm.
Hackaday, Elliot Williams did this article. So check out Hackaday. Also, Elector is following this up. So that's part one. Part one, deliver on the promise of this foundation
Yep.
to help continue keeping Arduino moving
Because
forward.
Arduino's actually a community now.
Arduino doesn't belong to one person, whether one person likes it or not. Arduino belongs to all of us. We've all contributed to this community.
That's part of doing open source.
That is part of doing open source. So that's part one, separate. Part two is the Arduino.org, which is kind
Now
of
have been merged.
it's been
and-
merged, but it still is a separate entity. When you ask for where the open source files are, you're directed to the Arduino.org people, not the previous team, which did release all the files. So we just had this engineering Ella video. I want to make sure I get the name right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing Ella.
yeah, and that was only possible because of open source and people releasing open source files and people releasing open source code and providing schematics and documentation. So right now, the Arduino Yun board says open source hardware. It says Yun is open source hardware. You can build your own board using the following files. That's not true. So we asked for.
I installed OrCAD.
Yeah, that's not true, and it would be good to just be clear. It's either open. You can or you can't. Don't.
I'm actually okay. You know, if the Yun isn't open source,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't say it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not even like the Gerber files are missing or the board. I mean, I think that the board files need to be released for it to be open source
Yeah.
hardware. That's the definition. But the schematics aren't even complete.
No, and the ownership of this is now it's called another company, Dog Hunter, which is owned by the new CEO of Arduino. So it's very confusing on a lot of these things. The Primo's STM32 firmware. It has
There's just a binary file.
no source code.
I mean,
There's-
I haven't found it. It could be
Yeah.
hidden somewhere. There's like, hundreds of repos. I looked.
Yeah, and there's some of these that have the Atheros Wi-Fi chipset, and that's
Yeah.
fine. It's understood if there's a module from a third-party vendor that's someone else's name, you don't have access to it. But if you look at the new Arduino Industrial, it has Arduino Industrial 1.1 is open source hardware. You can build your own board using the following files. You actually can.
Yeah.
And it says,
Well, it's a little bit of a thing where it's like, you have a part that you want to keep private. So what you do is
Yeah.
you put it on a separate board and you're like, oh, that's a sub module. But it's like, well, if
Yeah.
you design that also, it's like
yeah,
it's kind of like, it's,
So-
going around the,
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, there's expectations when somebody says something is open hardware or open source hardware. There are expectations that at least the schematics are complete.
Yeah, and the clear ownership should be Arduino. It's not. It's another company,
Yeah.
another entity. So
If it's not, fine. Don't
yeah.
say it is.
So we've asked for comment from some of these for years, and then over the last few months, and no one will respond back to us from Arduino.org regarding this. So that is why we wrote about it. There's other sites, Evil Mad Scientists Laboratories. This will continue to be a question because when it says 100% open source hardware, it's printed on the circuit board. It actually means something, and it might mean something to someone that you haven't
Yeah.
even met yet. So,
And like the Gemma and the Micro that we both worked on, we released everything. We released the
Yeah.
bootloader source code.
it's not a contest
hardware files.
on who's the most pure
It's
either.
not, but I'm just saying, like, when I have done things with
Yeah.
Arduino, like when we work on projects and release them, the expectation is everything is released. Just that's the expectation.
So I'll keep following this up, but the more people in the community that say, if it's not open source, just tell us why, and don't say it's open source hardware. That's it. That's all you have
Don't
to do.
mislead the community.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think actually everyone trusted that the files were there.
Yeah, we installed a bunch of software, and it's like they're incomplete. It's wrong. The ownership. There's no license, so you can't. You legally don't even know what you can do with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we'll see. So that's the news. Follow up later.
We'll let you know if you guys, everyone has any information. Let us know. We couldn't get a reply.
They're not responding to me specifically, I think. Okay. Speaking of open source hardware, this is where we make ours here in New York. Play some videos.
That feels great for yanking and pulling. Like I went down there and yanked on the bar and over this. I am.
So we have a few more, and these, Lady Ada, I want you to talk about this. This is
This is a stencil vision.
Yeah.
It's super sped up,
Yeah.
but the stenciler checks the
advanced stretching.
advanced stretching.
Yeah, and then we had some thunderstorms, so
Yeah, it was amazing. There was a flood warning.
yeah, and it just
It rained a lot.
Yeah.
It didn't flood, but you can see.
yeah, there's thunderstorms.
And then
couple
it was
days.
beautiful
Yeah, look at
because-
that. This is what the picket places see when they go to sleep at night.
Yeah, it was a beautiful sunset.
Yeah.
Summer day.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah. So that's outside our window.
Adafruit Fab.
Yeah.
That's
where we
review.
make all the open source hardware. Okay, so this is Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity. Nimbus stops by once in a while when there's Adafruit I/O news. We do have some news. So we have Adafruit I/O. It's a service for makers. You can do all sorts of data logging and live updates and more. We have some Adafruit I/O news. This is neat. So I'm just going to go over the numbers. So last month, May 16th, 80 million inserts of log data. 27,000 users, 23,000 online feeds, 79,000 feeds total, and then you can see 84 million inserts of log data this month, 29,000 users, 24 million online feeds, 84,000 feeds total. So we're almost up to 30,000 users.
That's cool.
For a free IoT service for makers. And we have a Internet of Things Bill of Rights that we want to make sure everyone knows what we're all about, because there's a bunch of crummy things that's IoT. So we have this on adafruit.com/IoTBOR. You can view it on GitHub. And there's a new effort called IoT Mark, and I was corresponding with some of the people that do that. So there is this general direction towards making IoT open.
Yeah.
So anyways, check it out.
London Zoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's news about IoT. 3D printing. Now Pedro have a couple of videos this week. This one is
AdaBox 4 themed.
What do you expect? Boomy. Here we go. Okay, and then you're probably saying, but what if I want to see a sped up time-lapse video of not that?
Is it a pangolin?
No, maybe. Well, it's an NAS thing.
Okay.
Here we go. And you can join Noah and Pedro every Wednesday, layer by layer, and 3D Hangouts. One of our new segments, Microbit Mondays. That's right. You can look forward to playing, learning, exploring, getting started with Microbit. We have hashtags and more. You'll be able to see some of the new projects on Tuesday. It was announced. Here's our news for the week. Microbit small board computer launches in U.S. and Canada, inspired next generation of students. Microbit Foundation aims to put the device in the hands of 2 million children in the US and Canada by 2020. And Adafruit is one of the resellers. We have a lot of accessories, tutorials, and more coming soon. We're ramping up. And you can check that all out at microbit.org.
And pick up a Microbit or Microbit Go pack.
Yeah, works with Microsoft Make Code.
Make Code. You
works
can use
with
it
ScratchX.
MicroPython.
Yep.
Type script.
Yeah.
So you have many options. If you are hardcore hacker coder, you can use it with embed directly. Sega even released a JLink image so you can use the onboard.
Yeah.
I think it's a Kinetis or NXP chip. You can use it as a debugger.
Yeah. And what I like is the Microbit is like maybe one of the first computing devices a young kid might use.
And it's like powerful. It's an NR51.
Yeah.
It's a Bluetooth Low Energy board. I actually want to see if we can get it working within the Arduino IDE because I think that would let people use projects with Arduino. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. And then Pi Day. Every Friday we do our roundup of Pi projects. I like this a lot. This is the one I picked this week. Powered by Raspberry Pi is a new effort.
What is that?
So, one of the most exciting things for us is the growth of the Raspberry Pi community has been the number of companies that have grown up around the platform, and those have chosen to embed our products in their own. So a lot of these you don't know about. So they have this thing. You can put that logo on your device, and you're saying, oh, but Phil, what type of things?
What types of things?
Like one of these things.
What is that?
It's like some HDMI
control board
thing.
So it's a custom Raspberry Pi. You can tell because the USB port's on the front.
Yeah. It's called the Kunbus Revolution Pi.
Kunbus. Okay.
Yeah, but you fill out the application form.
And there's one that I sent you too. There was another one that was like an HDMI Ethernet.
It's an industrial PC.
Yeah.
This is cool. And I like this because we're giving people a way to display what's inside.
Yeah, you put protection on it, and it's like you basically, it's easy to, to modify the design, and you've got a super stable Raspbian device.
Yeah, Intel Inside worked. There was
HDMI works. Ethernet works.
We enjoyed seeing some of the Arduino at Heart stuff. I think Arduino should get back to that. And this is just neat. So good work, everyone at the Pi Foundation and everyone who's working on that, because it'd be cool to start seeing powered by Raspberry Pi, and you'll be like, oh, look at that, look at that,
there's that monitor that had the compute module in it, or you could add the compute module, so that's an example.
Yeah.
But these are actually custom Pi, so you can do that.
Yep. Okay, Lady Ada, before we get to new products, code's booming. You know why now.
I know why.
10% off a native store all the way up to $11.59, except for the sale items or weekend making, and then not subscriptions, not gift certificates. It supports us. Adafruit. Yay. So, Lady Ada, ready?
Kick it off.
There we go.
New.
Okay.
That's the new sound. I didn't think ahead of time. I had to ad-lib it.
We rehearsed all week. Here we go. What's this?
First up, we have a couple of converters, and you're probably wondering, why do we have so many of these converters? Well, we actually were told by a little bird that the most popular items searched on their electronics website were for converters. So we're like, okay, we'll pick up some of these. They're pretty handy for electronics people, especially if you're doing single board computer stuff. This is a VGA to HDMI adapter. So sometimes if you have a computer or a device that has VGA output, and by the way, this can include microcontrollers. There's a lot of microcontrollers that you can basically get VGA output with some filtering. Because you have 3 analog outputs and H-sync and V-sync. So you have an FPGA or you have a fast microcontroller, you're generating VGA output, but you really want it to be HDMI so you can connect it to your local monitor or TV or whatever. Or you have an older computer that has VGA output and you want to connect it, again, to something with HDMI. This is a converter. It's fairly low cost. You put audio in if you want to add audio into the HDMI, because remember, HDMI is AV. It's both audio and visual. Audio and visual data, and there's USB power. Use a mini USB plug or wall adapter. It's a simple adapter, but works quite well. Takes your VGA, gives you HDMI. Simple as that. Works with anything you have around the house that's HDMI. Pretty much everything is these days.
Handy.
Shoot.
And aerodynamic.
Totally didn't mean to drop it like that. Drop it like a hotcake. Okay, so, next up. We have this silicone mat. And this is a really cool mat. I actually picked these up for us to use here at Adafruit. So you can see there's little notches, and it's because it's silicone, it's basically just like those baking mats. We were actually using baking mats, but they weren't as thick as this. So this is 4 millimeters thick, and so you can, as Vance is showing you, hot air your boards right on top of it. It protects your work surface. It also isolates the heat, so it doesn't end up not only scarring your work surface, but you get more heat on the device itself. It's just translucent silicone. It's got these little spots you can put things in. It's just it's not like sticky, but it's not slippery. So when you put things on, they won't slide around instantly. Glues don't stick to it. You can wash it very easily with hot water and soap. Really handy if you want to have a board and then solder directly onto it, because your soldering iron won't damage it and it won't damage your soldering iron. So great to protect your table, protect your devices, and makes rework a lot nicer. It's very handy. A lot nicer than a baking sheet.
Okay.
Next up, another converter. This video converter is from HDMI to S-Video or CVBS, which is, NTSC PAL. What this is for is you have something that has HDMI output, but you want to connect it to a very old TV or an older projector or some other device that has S-Video or NTSC. Another thing is if you want to read video signal in to your high-speed microcontroller or FPGA or something, and you have an analog digital converter, the S-Video, it's going to be a lot easier to go through and read the audio and the S-Video signal than try to decode HDMI, which is extremely fast. This you can sample at whatever rate you want, but we think this is going to be mostly for people who have an HDMI output with an older display. You can select whether you want NTSC, composite, single wire RCA, or S-Video. S-Video does give you better quality because it separates the luma and the color, the chroma and the luma, the color and the brightness data is separated. So it does look better than just single RCA, NTSC, or PAL. You can also select PAL or NTSC. There's a LED that tells you it's on. Plug the HDMI in, automatically detects the resolution, and pipes out S-Video or RCA CVBS, and then you also get stereo audio. Very simple. Kind of nice though. It comes with a power adapter and the S-Video cable, and really nice gold plate RCA cable. So you kind of get everything you need. This is a more complete kit. It's kind of nice, but if you have something with S-Video, go with that. You will get a better performance.
Okay.
And also aerodynamic.
This is cool.
This is a Sharp memory display. So we've actually stocked the 96 by 96 size display for quite a while, and they got discontinued. So Sharp doesn't make the 96 by 96 anymore. However, the good news is they make a 168 by 144, which is 4 times the resolution, and it's even less expensive, which is really sweet. So this is even less expensive despite being higher resolution. There's a catch though. Because this is a write-only display, you cannot use it with a device with low RAM. You need at least 3K of RAM to buffer the display.
That's why you got the Express on.
So this is a Metro Express. It's a SAMD21 with 32K of RAM. You can't use this display on an Uno or Leonardo or a 32U4 or 328. So you have to use something with an M0 or an ESP8266 or an ESP32 or a Teensy, something with a bunch of RAM. Now, it's actually not a big deal. Almost all chips these days, except for these kind of ancient AVRs, have at least 4K of RAM. So not a big deal, just watch out. You can't use this with your older feathers or your older chips, microcontrollers.
My grandparents used to tell me about those AVRs all the time.
I know. Definitely won't work with a teeny, but the good news is that I can show this on the overhead. This is a pretty cool display. It's kind of a cross between e-ink and LCD. So it
really is a very sharp looking display.
It's a sharp looking display. Let me actually, because it doesn't have a backlight, I might want to
that's fine.
Light it up a little bit.
It's lit.
It's lit. So it's kind of a cross between e-ink and LCD. So like e-ink, it's low power. So see what happens, I'm going to reset it. So I have this, and then I unplug the board. The display stays.
Right there. Oh.
It doesn't stay for a very long time, but it stays for about 3 seconds, and so that you can refresh it. But the refresh, you only need to pulse a pin for a microsecond or so, or millisecond, to refresh it. So for very, very low power stuff, this is great.
It's like the Snapchat of displays. You look at it and it disappears.
Slowly.
Yeah, invisible ink.
Invisible ink.
Okay.
But it's high resolution. It's extremely visible in daylight. So these are often used for smartwatches and outdoor displays. Yeah. Because it's not like a TFT where you have to have a backlight to see it. It looks like paper basically, and it's got this high-res screen so you can see this text. It's quite small, but it is legible, and we have a level shifter on there and regulator, so you can use it with a 3-volt or 5-volt microcontroller. In this case, use it with a Metro Express, and it works lovely.
Good stuff.
So sharp display.
Here we are, the star of the show besides you, Lady Ada.
Yes.
Is this?
It's another display. Displays are the word of the day. This is, when I saw this, actually it's funny, I saw this TFT in a little accessory, and I was like, I must have this TFT in the store. It is so small, it's only 1 inch diagonal, but it's 160 by 80 pixels, which is really high density for such small displays. It's higher density than even OLEDs, and so you get a very tiny screen, but with a lot of pixels in it. So let's check it out on the overhead so I can show this off. So I got to get in real close. And then let me turn
That's pretty amazing.
this backlight off.
Yeah.
So you can see how much text you can fit into it. And you know, you can read it. I'll hold it up really close.
Yeah, that's
So it's
so
very
clear.
legible. And then you can also, of course, display images. I'm just
Yeah.
running this off of a slow 32. So this one you can use with any microcontroller because the chip has memory
Yeah.
on the inside to buffer the display. So you can do text, you can do images, you can do all graphics. It's full color. It's just so small and cute. It uses the ST7735 chipset, which is a really well-known chipset. So every microcontroller these days has a driver for it, and just extremely high resolution for such a small size. So I would plan on making like a feather wing out of this, but this is also great as a little breakout. I added 2 mounting holes in case you wanted to attach it to something, but you can break them off if you want to make it even smaller and more
You
compact.
call them mouse bites, or what are they called?
These are mouse bits, yeah.
Okay.
Mouse bits.
Mouse bits.
You can snap them off with pliers.
Okay.
And then there's, I'll just show, there's an SD card slot on the back. And so you can store images. There's a level shifter and a regulator. So again, you can use it with 3-volt or 5-volt logic just fine. Very small.
Would this display work with a Pi?
You can make it, yeah, I don't know if we have a ST7735 library on our own, but I'm sure somebody else has written one. But yeah, you could use it with a Pi. It would be very small.
Okay. And with that, Lady Ada, those are the new products. Good work. Okay. Don't forget, the code's booming.
10% off everything you saw.
Yeah. And we have a, it's not out yet, don't ask. We have it.
Yeah.
Want to do it?
Yeah.
From Adafruit Vault. Okay. Do you have any setup on this, or you just want me to show it?
No, just show it. This is a Feather M4 Express. Pretty exciting.
I know all about this.
What is it?
It's a big deal.
Can't tell you yet. Don't ask. Pretty exciting, though. I think you'll like it.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
That's all we can say. Back in the vault.
Back in the vault with you.
Okay. All right, we're going to do a speed round of questions, and then we're going to give some away. So, everybody, start asking your questions. Can't be the... Not out yet. Okay, link to the custom Raspberry Pi computer. That's at raspberrypi.org. Just go to the blog. That's
Yeah.
Can you do a Saturday morning cartoon with the puppets? Yeah, I mean, we'll eventually have enough with all the Circuit Playground. Maybe we'll rerun them on Saturdays. Okay. Let's see. What's the best toolkit for a beginner?
Adafruit Toolkit's a really good start. I kind of picked the best things that you could get and put it in a pack for about $100. It'll get you really far.
Okay. If you want to learn MicroPython, CircuitPython, what's the best board? I'd say if you want to do hardware accessories,
Get the Metro Express.
Metro Express.
Get the Metro Express. It's
Also-
it's easy to use with a
Yeah.
breadboard.
Featherlined.
Also the Pi board.
Yeah, Pi board.
Pi board's really good. Metro
Restock 'em.
Express will work with CircuitPython. Microbit also. That's super low cost.
Okay.
So you have a lot of options now. It's kind of neat.
MagSafe adapter for the new Macs. The
What
one
about
that
it?
gets burning hot and doesn't work unless you hold it. I don't know if that's a question. I guess the new
Just
Macs
be
have a
careful.
problem. Yeah.
Maybe take it to your Genius Bar. Those MacBooks are very expensive. I don't want to
Yeah.
tell you something that could damage your shiny computer.
Will you answer this question? Yes.
I will answer this question.
Can I use the 160 by 80 color OLED for the Raspberry Pi as a computer for RetroPie?
I think they meant the display, which is actually a TFT on OLED, the thing I just showed. Although it looks like an OLED 'cause it's so small. You can, but it's we did actually try to play games on it. It's a little too small. 160 by 80 is a little bit too small. You need you really need a 320 by 240 display to play games.
Okay. Would you ever make a MIDI controller similar to the MIDI Fighter?
Check out 3D Hangouts coming soon, but also check out some previous 3D Hangouts. We have made similar
Okay.
controllers, MIDI controllers, and Bluetooth, and USB
Yeah.
MIDI.
What's the easiest way to get GPS on a Raspberry Pi Zero?
Just check out our GPS hat. We also have a guide on using the ultimate GPS breakout.
Okay, I can answer this one. Is Adafruit currently making the USA Arduino CC Arduinos? No.
No.
We stopped doing that last year. We were helping.
It's been 6 months, at least 6 months.
Yeah, we were helping the
More.
Arduino
Maybe a year.
USA CC team where they were in court and conflict with Arduino.org, and then they went into a quiet settlement period. So that's all over now. It's emerged as a different beast with a new CEO, and as of right now, we've decided not to do anything. All the things that we make outsell Arduinos, so it's not even like it wasn't a business thing. We helped Arduino CC and the team Massimo and that team, and now it's a different entity, and they need to get their business and their things in order, and maybe do some leadership changes, and we'd reconsider doing stuff with Arduino again. But right now, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, not ready.
And they're not asking either, so no, there ain't no love lost right now. Okay, next up. What you showed us in AdaBox for will come in all AdaBoxes. Yeah, should. They don't sell MagSafe for the Mac anymore. Other companies do, and they're not working. Yeah, that's probably true. Let's see. Has AdaBox 4 shipped? Yeah, we're shipping them right now.
We're shipping them right now.
Yeah.
We are shipping them as fast as we can.
Yeah.
Many have shipped. There are more to ship.
Yeah.
If you haven't received a shipping notice yet, just hold on for just one more day. Just hold on.
Yep.
You might get a shipping notice tomorrow.
Okay, why is the backlight line corrected to the STPE on the TFT Featherwing?
Well, because you can use the extra GPIO from the backlight, from the touch controller to control the backlight,
Yep.
which saves you a GPIO.
Circuit Playground Express will have a ton in the store soon. Just sign up.
We're making a
They're going
whole
fast.
bunch. Trust me, we're making a huge run. We had to fulfill some special orders, which you'll hear about soon. Somebody will have them, and they'll be talking about them. But we will get them in the store very, very quickly. Trust me, I've ordered enough to make 25,000 of them.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Okay.
We'll have plenty.
Well, that's the questions. You
Plenty
got
to go
Thank you,
around.
Lydia. Will there be any Make magazines left over so you can get one? Yeah, we'll have it in the store. And they're all signed. You signed 3,500 copies.
I signed 3,500 copies.
I have the time-lapse video to prove it.
I have like the slight ache in my right hand to prove it.
You have the carpal tunnel to prove it now.
Yeah, I gotta do
Okay.
this.
Let's give some away.
Let's give something away.
What are the rules, Ada?
Rules are if you've won something before on this show, please don't enter. We want one winner per my lifetime so that everybody gets a chance to win a prize. If you've won something, sit on your hands. Go get a sandwich.
Yeah.
Maybe make something.
Dealer's choice.
Dealer's choice. You
yeah.
can get either one signed copy of Make Volume 57, because yeah, we have a lot. We have like a box of them. Or you can get one of the mini color OLEDs. OLED TFTs. Now I have the idea. It's not an OLED, it's a TFT.
Sorry about that.
But you know what I mean. The little color display, it's so cute. Use it.
Yeah.
It's very adorable and small and colorful. You get to choose which one you want. Display or Make.
Okay, and they just need to say...
Right, sorry. All you have to do is call the phone number when we have the phone number and we open the line. We will ask you your name, where you're calling from, and a project that you're working on or you want to work on.
Okay.
You have to answer those questions. They're not optional.
This is our phone number.
It's very serious. Call this number now. Oh, they were surprised. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Hello, you've reached Ask an Engineer, and you're the winner. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm AJ, and I'm calling from Seward,
So you're calling from where?
Nebraska.
Hey, from Nebraska. Wow, thanks for calling, AJ from Nebraska. Well, you get to choose your prize. Do you want the magazine or do you want a color display?
I'll go with magazine.
Awesome. I'm totally going to sign this magazine for you, AJ. AJ, is there a project you're working on or a project you want to work on?
I'm currently working on a model rocket launcher.
Oh, cool. All right, sweet. All right. And summertime is a good time for that.
I have a little
Okay.
Okay. Tell them to email support.
and
Feather.
a feather display.
The denominator.
Yeah, there's an denominator.
Wow. Okay, you got a lot going on. It's a busy summer over there, AJ. Well, we're going to send you out some goodies, so please email support@adafruit.com and say, hey, it's AJ from Nebraska, and give us an address, and we're going to send you out your magazine. So thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay,
That was cool.
AJ and AJ's friend, you are the winner. I'm going to
right.
sign this for you.
Yeah. So if you didn't win, then you can just leave a message.
Yeah, leave a message. Call that number and leave a nice message, and we play them sometimes.
Yeah. We like to play them when people leave messages.
Yes.
Okay.
With their nice messages. Okay.
All right. Well,
Thank you,
we're out of
everybody.
here. The code's booming. Everyone at Adafruit, thanks you, and thank you for a wonderful week of making, everyone. Good week. It's happening. We'll be here next week.
I love how everybody calls from someplace else. Like, this is in Nebraska. That's kind of neat.
This is the best social network.
I love it. Yeah, phone and social network is great. Okay, cool. Well, let's sign this thing,
Yeah.
and we're going to have some food. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Here's a picture of a cat,
Meow.
and here's your moment of Zener.
Doom.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.